The Christmas Truce, 1914.
Christmas is around the corner, and with it, the good old Christmas ads are coming around as well to bring the Christmas spirit in all of our houses, either we want it or not. Amongst all the beer and Coca-Cola ads, you might remember an odd advertisement. An ad named My Name is Otto, made by Sainsbury's, depicting soldiers in World War I coming out of their trenches on Christmas Eve and singing Christmas carols, sharing gifts and playing football in the spirit of Christmas. Some of you may not know, but this was indeed a real event that took place on Christmas Eve in 1914 on the Western Front. It's a really nice ad, but what is the real story behind it? Beginning on Christmas Eve, many German and British troops fighting in World War I sang Christmas carols to one another across the lines, and at times, Allied soldiers heard brass bands join the Germans in their joyful singing. On Christmas Day at early light, several German soldiers emerged from their trenches and approached the Allied lines across the no man's lands, shouting Merry Christmas in their opponent's native language. The Allied soldiers initially mistook it for a trap, but when they saw that the Germans were unarmed, they climbed out of their trenches and shook hands with the enemy soldiers. The men exchanged presents of cigarettes and plum puddings and sang carols and songs. Some Germans lit Christmas trees around their trenches, and there was even a documented case of soldiers from opposing sides playing a good-natured game of football. German Lieutenant Kirk Zamisch recalled, "How marvelous, wonderful, yet how strange it was. The English officers felt the same way about it. Thus Christmas, the celebration of love, managed to bring mortal enemies together as friends for a time." Some soldiers took advantage of the brief pause to do a more solemn task, retrieving the bodies of fellow combatants who had fallen within the no man's land between the lines. The so-called Christmas Truce of 1914 came only 5 months after the outbreak of war in Europe and was one of the last examples of the outdated notion of chivalry between enemies in warfare. It was never repeated. Further attempts at holiday ceasefires were quashed by officers' threats of disciplinary action, but it served as heartening proof, however brief, that beneath the brutal clash of weapons, the soldiers' essential humanity endured. During World War I, the soldiers of the Western Front did not expect to celebrate on the battlefield, but even a world war could not destroy the spirit of Christmas. At the time, this event got a lot of media coverage in Europe, making it on the first page of the newspapers. This strange yet wholesome event in history seemed so out of place that many people to this day doubt that it even happened, though the photos taken that day are telling a different story, a story about camaraderie, honor and faith. Nonetheless, it is a beautiful Christmas story to remind the whole world that peace can make its way even in the midst of war.